Hey, gentlemen, how are you?
Good, good. Good to talk to you.
Congrats on this movie. I thought it was wonderful.
Oh, thank you.
Dallas, I wanted to start with you. I mean, this movie's very inspiring and brings me back. But you're working with Judy and Pete, who are hilarious. I'm huge fans of them. So I was curious, shooting this movie behind the scenes, was it ever hard to sort of keep a straight face in these more, serious moments? It's a funny movie, but there are serious moments and they're hilarious people. So I was curious what it was like working with them.
Yeah, Judy and Pete are extraordinary performers and very funny. Two of the most naturally funny people I've ever worked with. Occasionally, I would have to come out from behind the camera and go, guys, we are rolling, and we do have a limited amount of time. And my producer, Andrew Erwin, here is counting the numbers. So let's rein it in a little bit. So that happens occasionally. But honestly, that created a really great environment on set. Everyone who visited the set said, this is a really special place. And I think part of it's because we take the work seriously, we won't take ourselves too seriously. That said, I will say this. I've always believed that stand-up comics and comedians in general have a unique understanding of timing, of rhythm, and of emotion. Yep. And so when you're laughing and when you are enjoying this movie from a kind of a witty perspective, it brings your emotions to the surface. And when we get to the part of the film where you have to stick the landing, and where people have walked out of the screening so far with tears streaming down their face, that's because I think some of these performers, including the kids, who can pull off the humor, but they can walk that tightrope into the emotion. And it's a beautiful moment when it happens. And I think part of it is because they're so good at comedy that the drama and the emotion really hits home.
Totally. I totally support that. I feel the same way. And it's a wonderful end result. And Andrew, I wanted to mention, full disclosure, I've seen your last 4 movies, Unsung Hero, White Bird, Ordinary Angels, and now this. And I sort of see a through line there with them. They're all wonderful, inspiring, the power of faith. I can see it really shine through. And I was curious if you wanted to sort of talk about, I'd love to hear more from you about how you've sort of chosen these projects and, if you see, parallels between them
and what about me makes me the best director you've ever worked with?
I will build up
I just want to ask
all roads lead to Dallas Jenkins. Next question. No, Will, I think for us, when we started Kingdom Story Company and started our partnership with Lionsgate, it was right after we did the movie I Can Only Imagine, about 6 years ago now. And the dream was to kind of establish a platform where we could attract storytellers that we just wanted to collaborate with. And really the audience that we serve is a very underserved audience, but it's growing into a bigger mainstream audience. And that's that audience that appreciates faith. And I think redemption is at the core of the stories that we tell. And if you look at all those 4 movies that you mentioned, leading up to the best ever with Dallas Jenkins, the theme is about redemption. And each of those films was done by different filmmakers with different takes, but it all kind of had that same heart. And I think we did save the best for last. This is one that I think has the potential to be a Christmas classic, in the vein of movies that I love to watch every year, like that were done by Frank Capra, like It's a Wonderful Life. It just has that heart. And I think that's a very mainstream kind of approach that's universally appealing no matter where you come from, but it does speak to faith in a very organic, specific way, and it earns the right to be heard. This one delivers, so we're excited.
Of course. Yeah, and Dallas, for you, I mean, were you, making this movie, did you find yourself thinking back to any holiday Christmas classics, ones that you were a fan of that you found maybe were kind of inspiring, your vision for best Christmas pageant?
Well, my favorite movie of all time, the most influential movie in my life, is It's a Wonderful Life. So every Christmas I watch that movie. Every Christmas we watch A Christmas Story. There are some movies that maybe if it wasn't for Christmas, you might not necessarily watch them every year, but you get to that point of, and it's like a Pavlov's dog, you go, okay, this is the moment when we watch Elf or Home Alone, and it never gets old. And so part of that is me wanting to bring another one into the mix. If you think about it, there have been more Christmas movies in the last 10 years than probably any time in Hollywood history combined. And yet there's been so few Christmas movies that feel like a classic that you can go to the theater and see. Now, I'm not saying anything negative about all these other Christmas movies. My mom loves all of them, the kind of the Hallmark style movie, and they have a great place in popular culture. But a movie that you can go to the theater to see, and that feels like this will be Christmas for us. every Christmas we're going to be reminded of this story. I do think that this story, and based on this book, in fact, I have the original copy with me of the book that I read. This is the book the version that I read 20 years ago. We read it every year after we read it for the first time because we thought this story belongs in the pantheon of Christmas classics, and I hope that the movie delivers on that theme.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely think it does. I can't wait for everyone else to see it. So congratulations again to both of you, and nice chatting with you.
Yeah, you too. I want to mention real quickly too before you go is if people see it early, so it comes out November 8th, but if they see it November 2nd, for that one day, we've got extra content. You got Blake Shelton singing "Go Tell It on the Mountain." You got a scene from The Chosen season 5, but your kid gets to come free. So it's buy one get one free. If you buy one for yourself, you get a free ticket for your kid. So what's more Christmas than free tickets to a Christmas movie?
Advanced screening, get your tickets now.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'll be sure to spread the word. That's great.
Thanks, Will.
All right. Well, thanks
Thank
again,
you.
gentlemen.